from planet Earth. It is the only planet where living beings are found. Let's see the nature of planet Earth.
Still yourself. The forest captivates the imagination, permeates into the myths and beliefs of every culture. There are trees standing to this day that sheltered our ancestors from the rain as they shed their stories and fires 5,000 years ago. Trees that have stood through the rise and fall of empires and civilizations. Forests measure the passing of the year with vibrant green growth, the fall of leaves, orange and brown. They live on as generations come and go, waiting as the world changes all around. But the heart of the forest beats slowly, unchanging. Walk into a forest.
With the developing time, we have to develop with the time, but without harming our environment, because our environment is everything for us. With globalization and digitalization that connect the world, as a result, economies grows up, communication speeds up, and cultures mixes. The world becomes increasingly complex and uncertain. With development, humanity is altering the planet's climate. Our natural climate is lost with the development. Now, the condition of our climate is like this in the 20th century. For safeguarding the environment, the concept of sustainable development evolves. The sustainable development means development without causing harm to our environment. So, sustainable development is the idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Harlem Brundtland first introduced the concept of sustainable development in 1987, which was published by United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development, entitled as Our Common Future. It means that development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The development of sustainability based on these three pillars, that is society, environment and economy. Next, in this video, we can briefly understand about the three main pillars of the sustainable development.
Hi guys! Do you have time for a few quick questions? I see you're having a lot of fun, but do you ever stop and think if what you do is sustainable? And do you know what sustainable development means? Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for everyone now without destroying the possibilities for the next generations. If you wonder if something is sustainable, you can ask yourself, can we do this over and over again forever? Sustainable development means that we need to keep three things in mind at once: social progress, economic development, and climate and environment. First of all, we have to take care of our planet. We have many natural ecosystems that must be in balance in order for us to live here. The climate system is one of them. This system ensures that the temperature is correct and that the atmosphere emits exactly the right amount of solar energy. When we emit harmful greenhouse gases such as CO2, we clog the atmosphere. This changes the temperatures on Earth, which again affects our development. How we produce and use energy is incredibly important. Oil and coal are examples of energy we may run out of. Water, wind, and sun, however, will always be here. Using the lasting sources of energy that renew themselves is good for the planet and can provide jobs for years to come. Economics. Almost everything we develop, buy, and trade starts with nature. The smarter we use our natural resources and the better systems we create for a fair distribution, the more sustainable we are. One way to contribute to a more uneven distribution is to be more aware of what we buy and how it is produced. A football is a good example. It travels far before it reaches the football players. First, the materials are made. Then, they print the logo somewhere else before a third country sews it all together. One single football sees the whole world before it reaches its goal. This journey ties us together. If we are to win the battle for a sustainable future, we have to play with fair rules that applies to everyone. Social progress. We humans are part of nature, but we're also important resources for the world. Just like water, the forest, and the sun, we have minds that can create the strangest and most creative things. But for us to be the best versions of ourselves, there are certain things that must be in order, like having equal opportunities to education, safety, food, and medicine. This provides greater opportunities for us as human beings, but also for the planet. We just have to think in new ways. These three must work together. That is sustainable development. And there is actually a plan for this. All the countries of the United Nations have agreed on a joint plan for sustainable development. But for the plan to work, we need to cooperate, and we need you to be on board. Are you with us?
We know about 3 pillars of sustainable development. Next, we know about the education for sustainable development. In the developing or developed nation, education plays an important role for developing sustainability. Let's now briefly about education for sustainable development in this video. ESD, Education for Sustainable Development, is the dynamic term to save our planet, to save our future generation.
Education for Sustainable Development, ESD. Our biggest challenge in this new century is to take an idea that sounds abstract and turn it into reality for all the world's people, sustainable development, in the words of Kofi Annan. The scope of this DVD is a unique teaching aid which informs and sensitizes teachers about education for sustainable development. It will enable you to grasp its essence and translate the ESD approach into real action in the classroom. In this DVD, we begin with an introduction to WWF, India's efforts towards introducing ESD in the formal realm of school education. WWF India, in partnership with WWF Sweden, has been working since 2007 to build capacity in ESD. This has been done by empowering the formal education system in India to deliver ESD. To this end, in 2008, 4 model schools demonstrating the ESD approach were set up in the Sundarbans. In 2010, 4 more schools were added in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. In 2013, 4 schools have been initiated in Assam. Also, the District Institute of Education and Training and the State Council Educational Research and Training in these 4 states have also been trained in ESD. WWF India has also collaborated with the Central Board of Secondary Education and the National Council of Educational Research and Training to build the capacity of their master trainers in ESD. Handbooks on ESD have been published in English as well as 3 regional languages.
ESD helps in implementation and in decision making and also in maintaining the quality of life of the individuals.
Thank you, Subhasmita. Hello everyone. My name is Rahman. I belong from Bihar. My topic is education for sustainable development. Now I am going to discuss about this slide. Skills that are essential in development of EDS. First point, critical thinking for sustainable development. Education can be regarded as one of the most effective means of promoting sustainable development, cultivating in individuals the ability to ensure the well-being of the future and to respond to various developmental issues. When people do well in critical thinking, this saves our nature. My second point, decision-making skill. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. I mean, यानी नेचर रिसोर्स को वेस्ट करने का डिसीजन ऐसा हो आने वाले पीढ़ी भी इसकी दिक्कत का सामना न करना पड़े. माई थर्ड पॉइंट, interpersonal communication skill. Leader can achieve sustainability through effective communication skill. Communication play a vital role. My last point, self-management skill. The skill of self-management is a fundamental. Its implication for effective. My next slide, I will describe action theme of education for sustainable development. First topic, gender equality. Many ways for gender equality in society. Share household chores and child care equality. Reject racist attitude. Black and white matter. Help women gain power. Pay the same salary for equal work. Anti-bias training. My next topic, health promotion. In this time, in society of essential work, nutrition, hygienic, healthy food provide peace and human security. I want to bring peace in our society. We have too many things and many elements in our society. For example, love, morality, equality, non-violence and justice. My next topic, culture diversity. Cultural diversity is the existence of variety of cultural groups. Within a society, we should develop and respect many ways: religion, language, nationality, class, age, gender, disability, health difference, etc. My next point, rural development. We need attention some areas for rural developments: public health and sanitation, organic agriculture, literacy education, female empowerment, land reform. Dear friends, मैं एक छोटे से
Thank you, Rahman. Thank you, Shubhashmita. Myself, Pritesh Kumar. First semester, RI, Bhubaneswar. My portion is now start. Education for sustainable development promotes. These are following points. First point is interdisciplinary and holistic learning rather than subject-based learning. Means our education system need to focus on interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary rather than subject-based learning. Holistic learning means focused on all activities, cognitive development, affective development, as well as psychomotor development. Now, value-based learning. Our education system produce many teachers, doctors, engineers, or many things, but they do not produce a good human being. So, our education system or nation need to produce a good human being. So value-based education is most important. Critical thinking rather than memorizing means teacher provide a platform or opportunity for divergent thinking, for innovative thinking, innovative thinking. Fourth point is multi-method approach, art, drama, debate. As a teacher, include many type of teaching activities or teaching methods like art, drama, debates. Not limit the teaching in only classroom, teaching outside the classroom. Now next, participatory discussion making. Means teacher provide equal opportunity to all or create democratic environment in classroom to everybody participate in decision making. Now, now last point is locally relevant information rather than national. Means local promotes local because our nation make from local, so promote local. Now next slides. Education for sustainable development. Teaching learning process in classroom. First, value-based learning. The process of self-reflection and critical inquiry foster critical thinking of one's value and value of other. Learning to transform. This involves developing a vision for education for sustainable development and subsequent transformation of thinking for change. Third point is whole school approach. This is to develop an entire school culture committee to education for sustainable development, not focused on education for sustainable development simply within the curricula. And last point is community-based learning. The school act as a social agent as a part of community and involving the community as a resource and a participant in decision-making process. Now, next slide is being an educator, sustainable development promotes environmental awareness. This program promotes environmental education, active approach to teaching, learning, citizenship, education, research, and exchange of experience internationally. Second point is competency of the knowledge economy. This declined the skill of knowledge worker and especially coordination to be made of lifelong learning for all. Now third point is human social capital economic growth. This study to a specific role of both human and social capital in economic growth. Inclusive education. This address the special education need of a student which organic disabilities, learning difficulties and social disadvantages. Now last but not least, effect of COVID-19 on education for sustainable development.
The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, are a series of goals that aim to end poverty, protect the planet, and improve the lives and prospects of everyone by 2030. But COVID-19 and its effects are a significant setback in progress towards these SDGs, and the most vulnerable are especially impacted. In 2015, the UN member states made it their mission to achieve peace and prosperity by 2030. To measure governments' progress towards this mission, they established 17 sustainable development goals that each country was tasked to meet. But COVID-19 has presented a unique challenge in accomplishing several key SDGs. The goal most directly affected by COVID-19 is SDG 3, good health and well-being. Across the world, people are getting sick and dying from COVID-19. Because healthcare systems have been overwhelmed by the virus, they are unable to care for those with other illnesses as well. The pandemic has deprived children of their regular education, which impacts SDG 4 quality education and its end goal of helping people escape poverty. It is estimated that 90% of students worldwide are already out of school, and this has exacerbated the inequality between the richest and poorest students. In low-income countries, children of the richest 20% have a 79% education completion rate, while children of the poorest 20% have a 34% completion rate. It is also estimated that education online is out of reach for at least 500 million students worldwide. The UN created SDG 5, gender equality, to ensure it is treated as a human right and a necessary foundation for a better world. However, women are facing more consequences of the pandemic than men.
Thanks for watching this video.